What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the CREATIV podcast. So glad you are here with us today.
Woo, woo.
Episode, what is this, 127?
128,
128,
actually.
oh my gosh.
128.
Episode 128. I hope you're listening to this as one of the people that have listened to all 128. If you have not, that's totally okay. But there are a lot of people that have listened to all 127 now. This will be 128 episodes, which is pretty crazy. So that is you. Welcome back. If this is your first time listening to the show, welcome for the first time.
And then go back to number one.
Yeah, quick little intro. You definitely don't have to do that. My name is Joey. We haven't really introduced ourselves on the podcast in a long time.
That's
My
true.
name is Joey. I am married to Christy. Your name is Christy.
That's my name.
And we live in Northern California. And we are the founders of Creative Rise. Christy still operates a brand photography business, which is epic. And I have a consulting agency that used to just be more of a creative agency, photo, video, marketing funnels, all that stuff. But it's now basically just a consulting agency. And Creative Rise is the little baby in the middle, which is really fun. And this podcast is something we love to do every single week because as we continue to build our creative businesses, we want to continue to share the secrets we have learned myself over the last 10 years, you the last like 6-ish, 7-ish years. Yeah. It's like 16, 17 years total, and we're still going. So we would love to continue to give you guys tidbits of advice as we learn them ourselves. And as we learn what's working and what's not working, we'd love to share what's not working with you because hopefully that's going to save you some time, some effort, and maybe some money. But we just hope every single time you listen to this podcast that you feel inspired, you feel like you've been given something tactically to chew on and actually go implement so your business gets better. And most importantly, we hope you leave knowing that you can break the creative struggle. We've done it. It's possible. We've helped a ton of other people do it through this podcast, through our masterminds, our retreats, a ton of other stuff, our courses. And we just really believe you can do it. So that's literally why this podcast exists. But
what a good intro. That was
thank
great,
you.
Joe.
I appreciate that.
That was great.
That was totally off the top. But guys, welcome back to the show. We're so excited to chat with you today about a very kind of like trending topic. We're coming out of the post-COVID, or not really the post, during COVID, we had this huge bump where business was potentially going to be non-existent, and then it bumped, and people's inquiries were huge. They looked different, but a lot of people really skyrocketed, and then the post-COVID come down from the craziness of the world. A lot of people are experiencing a decline in inquiries as well, a decline in revenue. And a lot of countries around the world, a lot of economies are in a mild recession and have been for a while, or we're in one, came out, or entering another one. So there's a lot of different stuff going on right now that can contribute to lower inquiries. But the worst thing you can do as a business owner is blame everything else around you for not having enough inquiries. If Christy and I want to keep our businesses small, if Christy and I wanted to shrink the size of our businesses, the best way to do that is by blaming all the things around us for why we can't grow our businesses. So this podcast is going to be an aim at going, hey, how do we potentially understand there are some external factors that make it more challenging sometimes, but how do we look for the ways that we can take ownership and really, put our hands on the ropes and steer us in the best direction?
Yeah.
So that's what this episode is going to be about.
Because the truth is there are people who are not struggling with inquiries, right?
100%.
And it actually probably has very little to do with the actual creative side of what they're doing, but rather the marketing strategies that go behind it. So we want to encourage you that there are actually strategies that you can use to help increase inquiries, to grow your business, and to live the life you really want. So I hope this gets you pumped to listen to this episode for that.
And to personalize it, people are always talking about, my inquiries are down and people just don't want to spend money anymore. Literally last week, we signed a $45,000 deal for 2 months, and then it's going to be $5,000 a month going forward off that, something like that. I don't know the rough numbers, but it was something along those lines. So proof that people are still spending money. Companies still want to create awesome budgets that create awesome results. So you are still living in a world where it is very possible to continue to grow a business well. And I hope that encourages you.
Yeah, and then again, as we kind of said, there's different factors that maybe be like an inquiry dip and you might be freaking out. Just want to say, if you've moved states, if you've switched industries, if you were in the wedding space and now you're in the brand space and why am I not getting inquiries from brands? There's a reason for that. Times of year, there's certain times of year that are hot for booking, but don't use any, as Joey said, any of these as an excuse to not go full blown into figuring out how do I get more inquiries, because you have more control than you actually think.
100%. Yeah. So you do have more control than you actually think. And The only way you get more control than you actually think you currently have is when you realize there are things you can take ownership over rather than blaming all the external things around you. So again, that's what this podcast is going to be about today. And so when you are in an inquiry panic, and when people panic, most people then, get super hyper focused on the details, and they can't pull back. They can't see things from like a 20,000 foot view. So that's what we're going to do today in this podcast. We're hoping to really raise this plane up, fly a little bit higher, hopefully give you some perspective that might make you go a little bit back to the basics.
Yes.
Or if you've never heard them before, maybe it's just a good
revolutionary
foundation for you. These are really basics we're going to be talking about, but they're important basics that even Christy and I often forget because we get so focused on what's going on inside of the business.
Yes.
So that is what we're going to do today. But why don't we kick it off with some theory?
Yeah, so the theory, you guys, when somebody, whether it's a bride or groom, whether it's a business owner, whoever it is, a brand, if they are like, okay, what's the start of an inquiry process? What causes somebody to inquire with somebody else? And the first thing is that they feel the need. They feel the problem. They recognize a problem. Oh, I don't have a wedding photographer. Oh, my business needs updated headshots. We need a headlining video. Our website sucks. Whatever it is, they feel the need. So as soon as someone feels the need, they then go immediately into research phase. And this is where inquiries happen, and this is what we're going to dive into today, is they go into research phase where they feel the need and immediately go, who do I know? Or who does someone I know? Or they turn to search engines like Google, TikTok, Instagram, what have you, the local magazine, whatever it is. They turn and they research and they go, who do I know, or who can I find somebody that can solve this need?
Yeah, so right off the bat, guys, theory, the first thing people do is they feel the need, then they go and research for it. Even if it's not proactive research, maybe they're scrolling online, but the thought is in the back of their head that, ooh, if I find someone online that might clean my gutters, maybe I'll get it done. Because they're thinking about how their gutters are dirty, right? So it's not always proactive. It might be reactive research, right? But if you're already listening to this going, feel the need, but that kind of confuses me. Like, how do I fit in that? Well, it probably means your business doesn't solve a problem. That's probably why your business sucks. Very straight up. Every business, in order to grow, has to be able to solve needs. So if you're listening to that right off the bat, I'm going to shoot it straight to you because I love people that want to build creative businesses. I love you listening on, whether you're in your car, in your AirPods, at the gym, whatever it is. If you feel like, oh, I don't know what need I am solving, you really need to think about that.
Because
if you cannot figure out what that is, nobody else will be able to figure out what that is. If you cannot determine it really, really simply, here's the needs I am solving with my creative business, you will never be able to have a customer assume what needs you're solving, right? And if they can't assume the needs they have and then look at you and go, oh, you solved the need I have, they're never going to want to do business with you. So step number one of theory when it comes down to getting more leads is just really knowing what you do, how you do it well, and what problem it's solving. Okay? So 3 ways to become more discoverable, okay, in the process of somebody starting to think, whether it's subconsciously or consciously, about going out and researching and finding someone to do work with, okay? Number 1 is you have to become more discoverable, okay? We cannot tell you how many times people reach out to us and say, hey, I'm not getting any traffic, no leads to my site, no one's inquiring with me. And then we'll ask them how often are you posting? Or we'll just look at their socials, we'll look at their website, we'll look at everything, their ad library. They're running no paid ads, no organic ads, which is really just posting on your socials. When I say organic advertising, I just mean really just running organic socials, posting every day. They're not making any blogs, which means they're not becoming thought leaders on the topics that their ideal client is searching for online. And they're just not putting themselves out there digitally.
Yeah.
And I know that's not for everybody. But the reality is, owning a big creative business also isn't for everybody. You've got to learn how to play the game, even if you're not wired to play the game, right?
If you're not going to be a social person, you better be a door knocker if that's what you're going to do.
Right? So number one is if you want more inquiries, you have to become more discoverable. Where are the people that would be potentially hiring you hanging out? You need to get in front of them. Is it paid advertising? Is it organic socials? Is it writing blogs? Is it going to trade shows? Whatever it's going to be, you have to become more discoverable. So many people we meet that go, I'm not getting enough inquiries. They're just not discoverable. Yeah. They're not doing anything to make themselves discoverable. So number 2 is you have to learn how to give value, okay? Once you are discoverable, you have to then be perceived as valuable. So here's a great example. I see a sign on the side of the road all the time. It says it's like some type of construction sign or like repair or something. I really don't even know what it is, but it's a dirty old white sign that's cracked. Like some of the text, it looks like it's like faded from the sun.
Maybe repair your sign
so
first.
They are discoverable, but it doesn't look
Yes.
like a valuable sign. There's nothing on that sign educating me about why I should do business with them. There's nothing on that sign educating me about why choosing them is going to make my life better, right?
Or inspiring
There's no
you.
value, right? Yeah, totally. Inspiration is a form of value. So they're discoverable because they're on the side of the road that I drive past every day, but they're not valuable. Therefore, I never would think about doing business with them. I look at their phone number. It says construction loans or something, and it just has a phone number. I would never consider that, right? So number 2 is you have to give value. Is the content you're putting out into the world, the blogs, the paid ads, the organic ads, whatever it's going to be. Maybe you're at a trade show. That's content as well. Walking around and talking to somebody's content. Is that content valuable? Is it something your ideal client is interested in? Is it something that's going to hook them? Does your content solve a problem, right? Solve the need. Does it answer a question they have? Does it spark their curiosity or inspire them to want to change their situation through working with you, through partnership with you, right? That is so, so important. Now, number 3 is you have to have a solid CTA. In order to become somebody in the research phase that people want to reach out to, you actually have to let them know you're open for business, okay? Another example, I could be driving down the main strip of the town we live in, and I could see all these stores. They could even have great copy on their windows, like, oh, we do this, this, and this. But if the sign always says closed, I'm never doing business with them.
Yeah.
Your digital open sign is CTAs, which is a call to action. Hey, click the link in my bio to inquire with me. Submit a form in 30 seconds or less to jump on a free strategy call. Like, whatever your CTA is going to be, if you do not have them everywhere in your social bio, in your link tree, in your captions of your posts, all over your website, everywhere, if you do not have those, put them on the blog you write. This stuff has got to be everywhere. If it's not, people just don't know you're open for business. You could be discoverable. You could look valuable. But again, if the sign looks like it's closed, if your business looks like it's closed up for shop, no one's going to reach out to you. So Those are 3 things, guys, that are so important. Tactical things that match the theory of the first thing somebody does when they start wanting to look to have a problem solved is they think about the need, they identify it in themselves, and then they start to become aware and doing a little bit of research, maybe consciously or subconsciously, of the things around them that could help them potentially solve that need.
Yeah, that's so good. Okay, we're going to jump into a few ideas about how to boost inquiries this year. Okay, these are some tried and true. We've got one that is like, hey, you already know this, but I'm going to beat this into you again because I'm like, man, this is so, so important. And then there's 2 other ones that maybe you haven't thought about before and maybe you haven't taken the step on. So the first one is pretty back to the basics, you guys. Have an actual plan for socials. And before you skip this section, this is going to be like a little bit of a talking to from Christy to you on the importance of, hey, if you are finding clients through online spaces, TikTok, Instagram, whatever it is, you have to be so active. If I told you that you could double your inquiries if you doubled your posting, would you do it? And if the answer is yes, then what are you doing right now? Go and double down on this. First of all, free advertising, you really can't beat that. And you guys, this is where so many people are finding, especially if you're like in the wedding space. I was in the wedding space for 5 years, and I can tell you there is an actual linear relationship between how much you post and how many inquiries you get. And every single person that we've coached, that we've walked through, has said the exact same thing. They're like, they come to us, go, oh, I'm not getting any inquiries, all this stuff. I'm like, how much are you posting? They're like, maybe like once a week or something like that.
Once every 2 weeks.
Once every 2 weeks or months. And I'm like, okay, that is one section of problem in your business. And then they change that 6 months later or a year later. They're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that it was actually all hinged on that. So again, we're going to kind of mimic the 3 steps, but for socials specifically. So 1, ask yourself, how are you becoming discoverable on socials? Are you consistently posting 5 to 6 times a week? Are you on stories daily? Are you outsourcing some of this to make it possible? Maybe get a free summer intern, somebody to help you create content or post it for you, whatever that is. And then also, is your content valuable? So again, is it tailored to your ideal client to answer a question they're wondering, to give them inspiration, to give them hope for whatever it is, to show them how it actually works? Sometimes that's a huge pain point for people is they don't know how it actually works, or they don't know how it's actually going to work with you. So stop creating content that maybe just gets views and start creating content that is valuable for your client. I would much rather have a content piece that quote unquote performs less well than a content piece that blows up, but you get no traffic from it just because you're just capturing attention, not giving value. And then the third thing is, are you giving solid CTAs in your content? Are you showing what the next step actually looks like for somebody? Again, like Joey said, is it submitting a form? Is it hopping on a call? Whatever that is, are you putting that in your bios? Are you putting that in captions? If people don't know what the next step is, they're not going to take it. And then number two, so that was socials, okay, everyone? Now we can take a deep breath.
Those were 3 micro steps underneath social.
Yes.
Now we're going back to the main, which social was number 1.
Back to the ideas.
Number
Sorry
2
if you're not
is
tracking with us.
Funnels.
Funnels.
Let's talk funnels.
Let's talk funnels. So once you have your social plan dialed, you're starting to get traffic, all this stuff. And you guys, this is not new. A marketing funnel is like the traditional basic marketing strategy of how do you take a large audience and funnel them into buying something expensive.
Yeah.
So you have
which is every business in the world.
Which is every single business in the world.
But for some reason, us creatives are like, we don't need marketing funnels. And then we sit there and go, I have no inquiries.
Exactly.
Like, this sucks, you know?
And so you maybe have seen this and you didn't realize that someone was actually doing a marketing funnel. But
you got
when
funneled.
Somebody has a audience that, like you, have an audience that you're trying to capture to make a big purchase decision. Sometimes they need to make micro decisions before they make the big decision.
That's so good.
So the micro decision is, how do you give something that's free or super low ticket? And I would challenge you, make it free. You're going to get a lot more people in if it's free, because ultimately what you're trying to do is capture a contact info. Whether it's an email, whether it's an Instagram, whatever it is, that is the whole goal, so that you can sell them later on and nurture them towards a big sale.
Yeah. 100%.
So what that can look like is maybe a free guide. It could be a free call. It could be even a free shoot if you want to go so far as that. Something that is like low commitment for them that they can take from you, that's going to give them value in order to get them down to a larger sale. So this can be like, I've seen one of our Mastermind graduates, and she was also part of our Inner Circle, Soul Like the Sun. Her name's Rebecca Soto.
She's been on the podcast too.
She's been on the podcast. Again, if you've gone through it, you've listened to her before. She's come out with a couple great guides that have helped booked her years out. Mm-hmm. And she did one maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago on how to romanticize your engagement season.
So
and
good.
That popped off, booked her a ton of weddings. And then she also just did a free guide that's ultimate guide to elope in Santorini. And literally the next week she had an inquiry from somebody wanting to get married in
literally
Santorini.
Wanting to go to Europe. Like
literally ideal client.
It's not rocket science.
It is not
show
rocket science.
somebody that you can potentially solve the need, educate them on that need, which is what her guide was doing. And then they go, oh, I trust this girl. All of a sudden, Rebecca's going to Santorini, right? So This is how marketing funnels work. You need to make sure, even if it's smaller scale, you're somehow nurturing people. That's the key. You said it so well. You're getting a contact, and then you're nurturing them with micro steps in order to get to the bigger step. That was really, really good. I loved how you said that.
Awesome. So yes, micro steps, marketing funnels, that is a great idea. And again, once you create your funnel, start advertising the crap out of it, whether you want to do paid or organic. You can't just create it and then let it sit and wonder why you're not getting inquiries. You have to push it out to people. And then number 3, the last idea that you can use that honestly, this works so well, is an affiliate system for other creatives. So if you're like, I'm not getting a lot of inquiries, guess what? There is somebody out there that's getting a ton of inquiries and has a ton of work, and they are just always saying no to people, or they're just passing people off. Just be like, oh, I know this other referral, like just go ahead and go to them, and they get nothing for it. Now, if you could create a way where you could actually give a kickback, a finder's fee to somebody that is going to refer you when they're busy or they don't want to take that client, they can send them your way. And if that client books with you, you then give them X amount of dollars or whatever you want to trade to give them a benefit. That way it's a mutually beneficial relationship. Yeah. You can approach your friends, you can approach maybe even people you don't know, and just go in a non-creepy way. Hey, I just believe you should maybe you deserve to get paid for the ones you have to say no to. And I want to help you do that.
That's a great line.
Literally so easy. So easy. And so if you set up an affiliate system like that, you can start getting referrals all the time from somebody who's like, I've been looking to send my nose to somebody, and I would love to make $250 off of that wedding that I can't shoot. Yeah. So those are our 3 little ideas. We've got our 3 steps. Again, the 3 steps are be discoverable. Number 2, give value. And 3, give solid CTAs. And you guys, this is the basics. And if you're thinking, this sounds really basic. And like, I know all these things in my head. Great. Now, why aren't you doing them? Or what step in the process are you missing? Because a lot of people go, I do all this stuff and still I'm not getting inquiries. There is something wrong in the cog of your whole business, right? There's some piece that's missing. So try to fine tooth comb through all those 3 steps and go, what piece is missing that maybe I'm not pushing on the accelerator right, so that I can then go back to getting inquiries or push to getting inquiries that I want to be getting.
Yeah, 100%. And guys, just a word of encouragement to wrap this up. All marketing is simply testing. So what worked for Rebecca, the Santorini guide, might not work just as well for you, right? What might not work for her might be phenomenal for you.
Absolutely.
So business is about creating value, putting it into the world, testing it, seeing the data, and then shifting and moving forward. If you can just repeat that process over and over and over again, you're going to wake up in a year, 2 years, and go, I've built some really, really cool stuff that's been incredibly beneficial to my business. So, guys, that is a wrap on today's podcast. If you listen to that and you're like, whoa, that was like drinking from a fire hose of value on even just like the simplicity of how simple it was. We hope that was very simple. But also, hey, simple work, simple scales. If you like that style of hearing how Christy and I are talking about it, we're so passionate about helping you get more inquiries. And the next step for you might be the best step. Talking about funnels, micro steps. Well, here's one. This is a great next step. Honestly, we'd love if you would consider jumping on over to creativerise.com and checking out the Creative Rise Mastermind. We have run 9 rounds of our signature 6-week mastermind, which is the Creative Rise Mastermind. We cover 6 pillars. Number 1 is all about brand. So the first week is all about brand, money management, all of that stuff, understanding like your brand identity, creating a brand persona, some website stuff to make sure your website's going to sell. Week 2 is all about problem solving, creating offers. If you miss this week, if you get this week wrong, you get everything wrong. So week 2 is so pivotal for so many people. It's pricing, it's all that stuff. Week 3 is all about how your network is your net worth. So I share some actual tactics and strategies that I've used to connect with some of the biggest brands on the face of the planet and retain them as clients. And those are really, really fun, easy tactical systems that I give you that you then get to use and implement into your business, and it helps you connect and build a better network. Week 4 is all about scaling that in marketing. So week 4 is all about building out this stuff, building out your customer value journey, starting to build out some funnel stuff. It's really fun. Week 5 is all about scaling all of that, scaling your time. We talk about how to do that, scaling your finances, talking about how to add more profit and then what to do with that profit. Then we also talk about scaling like just the efficiency of what you're doing. And then week 6 is all about doing that from a healthy perspective. If you can get all week 1 to 5 stuff dialed in your business over the course of a month, 2 months, 3 months, you have all the systems, yet you do not know how to work in a way where it's got some balance, you're going to burn out, and we do not want you to do that. We've both had that in different seasons of our life. So week 6 is all about how to actually build a business for the long run, doing it in a healthy way. If that at all is intriguing to you, even 1 or 2 of those topics is a big trigger topic for you going, wow, I need that. I guarantee you the ROI is going to be insane for you on the mastermind. So all you got to do to potentially get into the next round, I say potentially because it's application only. We'd love for you to apply. The application is not out yet though. You got to go to creativerise.com. You'll see all the information, everything you're going to learn, how it all works. It's very communal. It's live. We do a ton of stuff live each week. Creativerise.com. You'll see the wait list there. You jump on the wait list, and the wait listers are going to get $100 off and early access to the application, which is so cool because it always sells out. We only take about 35 businesses every round we do, and we always get like 70 to 90 applications. So we really want to make sure that if you're at all interested, get on the wait list. We can give you a ton more info. We can make sure that it would be a good decision for you, or make sure it's maybe not a good decision for you, because it's not for everybody. It's only for people that are highly committed to making sure that this next year of their business is going to be the best one they've ever had, and they want the shortcuts.
Yes.
They want the shortcuts.
Yes.
So, guys, so grateful you're here. Again, creativerise.com. You'll also find all the other fun tools on there, free stuff like the pricing calculator, but the Mastermind waitlist is where you want to go. So anyways, guys, from me, Joey, and you, Christy, because we introed ourselves at the beginning, so we'll outro ourselves. So glad you're here listening to this. Again, this is a weekly podcast designed to help you break the creative struggle in your own business. And when it happens in your business, it then happens in your life, which is the best part. And that is the goal that we want for you. So from us to you, I hope you have a phenomenal week, and we'll see you next week.